Okay, part two. Sorry, the memory died. So what I was saying in the previous video, part one, was I have been always held back by teachers who have been doing this job longer than me. So now that I've been here for 4 years, they don't really have that authority over me. They don't have that arrogance over me because I could teach just as good or if not better. And you know what the difference is? You know what the difference between a good teacher is and a knowledgeable teacher? Just because you have pedigree, just because you have, you taught at the best, fanciest schools, blah, 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 that does not make you a good teacher. A good teacher is a student that builds rapport, that can make your students laugh, that can make classes that are not formulaic, that are unique, creative, interesting. Students, yes, I understand the whole idea of class structure, students being conditioned to expect this. Okay, yes, but from somebody who's been doing this now, I've learned that, and my test scores for my students in class prove this, that being unpredictable, having a sense of humor, maybe you show a YouTube video, maybe you show something funny of yourself, maybe you draw some funny things in the classroom, maybe you just have some music blaring, maybe you walk around the students and have little things like blah, 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 blah. Call students out, have nicknames for them. Like I have a student I call Johnny Storm, which is the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. So I say, Johnny Storm, what's up, buddy? Teach them, American handshakes, like do that kind of stuff, right? Make it so a class with you, and you should see the PowerPoints and the lessons and Google Slides that I make. Every part of it is customized. You might have Batman on the cover. You might have a freaking Abrams tank. You might have an F-18 Hornet. You might have freaking Dune. You might have Top Gun. You might have me holding a lightsaber. You never know with me. That's the thing. Students remember things that are exciting, fun, because it shows passion and it shows commitment. But back to my original point, you're gonna start somewhere. Okay, you're gonna start somewhere, and in that beginning part, it's okay to go by the book. A lot of the cheaper schools, I'm going to tell you a little inside secret, okay? Cheaper schools, usually the lower quality schools, will be the ones that will provide you a lesson and tell you exactly how to teach it. It's the good language academies or the schools that you want to teach at are the ones that will, yes, they'll tell you what you're supposed to teach. For example, Unit 8, why do we communicate? Why do animals communicate? And then it might say, okay, your focus of this lesson will be these 4 pages, which will be about grammar and learning some new vocabulary words, and then maybe speaking. So your whole lesson then is for you to make sure the students understand the new vocabulary words, and by that means being able to write it, being able to speak it, so being able to pronounce it correctly, being able to use those words critically. So that means, for example, not just understand. So, let's say the new vocabulary word is anthropology, okay? So they understand it as a field of science, so the study of culture of people. Okay, well, how could you ask that? How could you teach them to use that critically? Well, you could say, all right, well, give me an example of how you could teach, or what kind of work does an anthropologist do? You might ask the students, or you might teach the students. You might show them a video of anthropologists going into the Amazon, meeting some different tribes. Another example would be maybe you're learning about why did the Egyptians do this? So vocabulary words, mummies, pharaohs, pyramids, sphinx, things like that. So of course you're going to have the phonics part of it, which is phonics is how you pronounce it, the speaking exercise. All that stuff I don't find as important as actually being able to utilize the words. understand the words. It's like, okay, I see language and teaching English is the same way like a gun, okay? You might have yourself let's say you have yourself a 45, okay? Or a 40, a Glock 40, okay? Or let's say you have yourself an AR platform, an M4, or whatever. Name your favorite gun, okay? You got yourself some kind of AK, some platform, whatever base model that you like. Maybe you're using a 30-06. Maybe you're old school. Maybe you're using this is a 20 gauge. These are all guns I'm naming for all you people who don't have guns. All right, is it important that you know how to pronounce that gun, or is it important that you understand how to utilize that gun? Is it important that you can say, all right, this is a Beretta 9mm, or a 1911 Colt action, blah blah blah, or a 44 mag, no. What's important is that you understand the recoil, understand how many rounds that it could put down range, the caliber of the bullets, how many bullets can a magazine hold, things like this. What is the trigger pressure? That is language, not just memorizing. Okay, a pyramid is a brick rock triangular structure used to bury pharaohs and ancient kings. Well, no. Teach them about maybe how it aligns with the stars, how it is theorized that it is impossible for modern day architects and engineers to explain exactly how they were able to do that to such precision. They can't even fit paper in between those rocks with technology that should not have existed, but somehow they did. And there's a lot of examples to that throughout history. For example, being Stonehenge. Another example being what was it called? Island. What was the island? Easter Island. But they did explain that they cut the trees down and used the trees to roll down. This Easter Island is this island that has those face statues that are lined on the outside. Well, they eventually debunked how they did it, which was they cut down all the trees and they used it to roll them on. End up deforesting their whole island and making it uninhabitable and killing themselves. But point being, back to my original point, okay? As a teacher, phonics, grammar, speaking, writing, listening, you have all these different elements. The best kind of schools are the ones that are going to give you, the teacher, the ability, the leniency to create your own lesson so that you can make it memorable, okay? Not one that's just follow the numbers. Like my first school I taught at APAX English, okay? Who F them, don't ever work for anything called APAX English. They stole money through a whole bunch of people, hurt a bunch of people I know. Yes, I got my justice, I'll just say that. And they could kick rocks, but a lot of people didn't. So if you ever see a recruitment ad for APAX English, or I could name some other schools, there's what they do is these schools will steal money, and then they'll take from the parents, not pay their employees, and then they'll change their names. There's let's just say that there is one in Laukai, for example, APAX English. The manager, so the center manager of this APAX English now works at another school. Who she was directly responsible for not paying, making a contract with me, not keeping her word. Like teaching in Vietnam is so easy to get ripped off, especially if you are at the basic level of teaching, as I was at the start. I was just a 4-year college graduate. I had my associates already, but to do teaching you have to have a 4-year. So I just had a 4-year degree. I had my TEFL certification, and I had experience through, I would say, similar experience through careers working through the Department of Labor. Okay, not directly teaching in English, but knowing how to deal with students. That's all I had. I wasn't some SOTA, Delta expert doing TED Talks like you'll see some of these people. I was just some guy. Those are the kind of schools that will prey on you. They now I notice that if I ever put applications out, that when people see my qualifications, when they hear that I've been in one city for 4 years, working the same job for almost 4 years, that's very odd. That shows that he must be very good, he's very loyal, and we don't want to F with this guy. So it's actually harder for me to find good jobs than it is for somebody, because they know that you can't F with me, you can't mess with me. I know the culture now. I got connections. I know people. I know how the game is. You know, you're not gonna bullshit me. So, anyways, point is, try to get yourself to a school that I know it's gonna be hard. It's extra work, but that work it's like doing push-ups, but for learning how to be a teacher of your mind, of your imagination, and that carries over to the student's education. And I'm telling you, I didn't believe it. I thought it was all BS. But there is a tangible, there is a physical, something that that manifests. It's between teacher and student when it comes to you caring about their success. That feeling of when teacher Indy, teacher Atticus, teachers, whatever, comes running up to you and just wants to speak to you because they look up to you as a hero, and their parents look at you and they're smiling and they're proud of you for teaching their son or daughter, and they give you a high five, and they want to tell you. I have a student, his name is Ming Jung, I'll just say, and he just loves to do interviews with me. He will sit down and just love to talk, to show off his English. Comes in when after my class, I'm erasing the board, and here comes Ming Jung just to talk to me. I have many students like this. And, you come into it thinking it's just going to be a job. You could be the most cold-hearted son of a gun there is. And I was a pretty cold-hearted son of a gun. But I'm telling you, these students matter to me now. And they will matter to you. If you can keep yourself away from what my whole channel has always been about. Stay away from Saigon. Stay away from freaking Ninja Teacher and all those BS places that are, putting you in tier 1 city. And look, okay, Alex from Ninja Teacher, me and him have, I don't know the guy, I've never met him. I've spoken to him through our YouTube channels, okay? I understand that he does place people. I understand he provides a service, but he overcharges, in my opinion. He might be the nicest guy in the world, but when you know for a fact that getting a good job in Vietnam has nothing to do with your TEFL, you are misleading people, such as how I was, into paying thousands of dollars to fly out to a tier 1 city in Saigon to live in these nasty, polluted, and even not, yes, you have connections in Hanoi and Halong, but expat bubbles. You set these people up to live in this Western expat bubbles. They never, you set people up never to be challenged, and you exploit that. And what do? You make little posters of graduation class. Now, Alex, if you see this video, Alex is the guy from Ninja Teacher. YouTube their channel. He's the South African or British. I don't know what he is, but the face of their company. Brags about 14 people. And blah, blah, blah. I'm a one-man operation. Okay, I'm a one-man operation, and I like to think that I've helped more teachers learn how it really is. How you really teach, how you really live in Vietnam, because I'm actually living as Vietnamese. Whereas you sit there at your shopping malls and McDonald's, sit there in your expat Tuesday night taco club. I've sat here alone at park picnic benches eating banh mi's for 4 years with not a single Westerner in sight. I'm the only one in the goddamn city. Talking about you understand living and succeeding in Vietnam. Have you ever been invited into an ethnic, farmer's house up in the Sapa village? Have you ever been into a house that doesn't have electricity, phones, Wi-Fi, air conditioner? Have you ever been and spent time with the people who suffered after Typhoon Yagi? Not just donate on your Facebook charity groups, but actually were in it, risking your own life to try to help people in the recovery process. Do you actually know what it's like to teach poor students? Students who their parents don't have a lot of money, and they are putting all their trust on you, me, to be that key element which allows their child to have a future. Me. They don't know me. They don't know why I chose to come to some tier 4 city in the rural countryside of North Vietnam on the China border. Whereas every other teacher wants to go to Ho Chi Minh City, which aka Saigon, wants to go to Halong Bay, wants to be on the ocean, wants to have all your little parties and all that. But no, I am their hope for their child to have a good future, and that is a responsibility that I take lightly, and I resent companies like Ninja Teacher that lie to you and tell you, oh, pay us $3,000 and you're going to be in a group, and we're going to hold your hand and job placement. Yes, I'm not denying that they'll do that, but you are going to pay way. I paid $250, I think, at the time. It was during 2020, during COVID, right? So I mean, online TEFL, $150 hour online TEFL, just as good as the $3,000-$4,000 thing that you're offering. And you know what? That TEFL, it has helped me maybe 1% of how to be a teacher. It doesn't teach you how to be a teacher. You don't learn how to be a teacher. If I sit here and make a video about how to race motorcycles on my level, are you going to understand? You want to pay $3,000 for me to sit here and talk to you and do a class about, okay, so to race a motorcycle, you must be fearless and not afraid of dying, and must be able to lean a 1,000 pound crotch rocket between your legs over to your knee while going around curves with a semi or a cow might maybe to hit you. You must be able to know how to hit your throttle enough that you don't go flying over. Like, no, you learn by doing. You learn by pushing yourself. You learn by actually not coming to Vietnam, not teaching in Vietnam, not living among, I'm not going to say that, not living among the Vietnamese, but living as Vietnamese. I have lived as a Vietnamese. I am proud to say that I have lived like a Vietnamese, a northern Vietnamese, living history Vietnamese. Whereas you are a bunch of spoiled Western, I don't mean to make this video into just dogging on you, but I see you. I see what you do. I think you scam your people, and you could come at me anytime you want. Lao Cai, Sapa, anytime you want. Any way you want to handle it, brother. Like, I don't have no beef with you, but if you have problems with me calling you out on scamming your people, overcharging them, and keeping them from the truth about what Vietnam really is, and how to be a teacher and how to be successful here, yes, I will give you credit. You made one good video about the quality of teaching does matter, and I agree with you on that. That, yes, you need to care. So you made a video talking about, how to be successful here, or what kind of people, character traits it takes to be successful here. You talked about, somebody who loves education. Wrong. I respect the idea, but you're wrong about, has nothing to do with education.